Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, August 11, 2014. Some Western news sources are indicating that there may be a coup ongoing right now in Baghdad against the government of Iraqi Prime Minister Re al-Maliki. We'll have a little bit more to say about this later in the broadcast, but I'm looking at the monitor. Nothing is definite yet. Meanwhile, yesterday morning, another passenger jet crash in Tehran. A Antonov A-140 turboprop plane took off from Maribyrnh Airport in Tehran. It was a domestic flight. It crashed shortly after takeoff. Apparently, they had an engine difficulty causing the plane to somehow split in half. The tail end of the plane dropped on a busy street, which fortunately, since it was early on Sunday morning, was not busy. It seems that at least 40 of the 48 people on board the plane has died. Meanwhile, the Iraqi president ordered immediate suspension of all Antonov 140 flights. This is an ongoing problem in Iran because this is an old Soviet-era plane. It's very difficult to get spare parts for. And meanwhile, of course, the Western sanctions on Iran mean that they can't buy any new planes. Neil Eckert is back. Neil Eckert is a legend. He's made at least 3 fortunes in the London reinsurance market, and he's clearly aiming for his 4th. A new MGA that will structure specialty reinsurance deals for investors from the capital market is expected to reach the industry by next year. It's established by Eckert, who's the founder of the Climate Exchange that he sold to Intercontinental Exchange, ICE, for a considerable sum of money. He's also joined with Klaus Gerstner and former Marine underwriter from Ariel Re, Brian Gulbranson. The company, I believe, is going to be called Lanier Re. It's going to seek to provide risk for the traditional market. Speaking about the venture, Eckert told Intelligent Insurer that the abundance of capital flooding in from the alternative markets has provided a ripe opportunity. No kidding, good for him. A 72-hour ceasefire agreed upon by Israel and Hamas took effect at midnight on Monday. Reports are that the Israeli negotiators are arriving in Cairo today to begin discussions in the Egyptian-sponsored peace talks with the Palestinian factions. Meanwhile, over the weekend, President Obama announced before heading to Martha's Vineyard on vacation that the American airstrikes in the Kurdish area of northern Iraq are going to continue for some time. It's not going to be a quick mission. U.S. airstrikes are beginning to show some clear effects on the battlefield. Kurdish forces counterattacked against Sunni extremists in northern Iraq yesterday, regaining control of 2 strategic towns. There are still a considerable number of refugees stranded in that one particular mountainous area. That's going to take a while in coordination between ground and air attacks in order to get them out. 500,000 people were evacuated in Japan yesterday as Typhoon Halong began to lash the country. Unfortunately, it also occurred on the eve of a 3-day weekend. This was the Buddhist holiday celebrating Obon. The Japanese Meteorological Agency issued a warning for heavy rain in the Mie Prefecture in central Japan, prompting 2 towns to order about 500,000 people to leave. Strong winds had left 6 people injured in Mizaki Prefecture in southern Japan. More than 400 flights were canceled. A total insured loss from last month's fighting at Tripoli airport in Libya could now hit 600 to 750 million. Here's the situation in a nutshell. Rebels were battling against the government in the area of the Tripoli airport. There were a number of planes on the ground, jets, completely insured by Lloyd's. The difficulty was that nobody was able to ascertain exactly what damage, if any, might have occurred to the equipment there. A well-placed source has told Insurance Insider that the expectation that the 440 million aggregate limit on the exposed losses would be exhausted, with additional major losses coming from other airlines. So this would mean Barak Air and Libya African Holding Company, which own a number of jets which are in place at the airport. The difficulty had also been that loss estimates for the Tripoli claims have varied because of a lack of clear information and the site being inaccessible to loss adjusters. There's also a possibility that the events plural, could be classified as two separate events, which in fact then would allow the losses to really jump. They could go as high as $750 million, which again, for the war risk market in aviation, combined with what happened with the shoot down of the plane, the Malaysian plane in the eastern Ukraine, means that we're talking about a very serious imbalance in that market for this calendar year. China Reinsurance is scheduled to come up with an IPO in Hong Kong in the first half of next year, according to sources. The company is being advised by Union Bank of Switzerland. China Re, whose businesses span from life reinsurance to wealth management, has a virtual monopoly on the domestic reinsurance market in China. 44 people have been killed in Tibet when a tour bus fell off a 30-foot cliff in the southwest China's mountainous area. The bus careened after it crashed in a pileup involving an SUV and a pickup truck and went off the road. A day of anger over a fatal police shooting in St. Louis yesterday has led to widespread looting in a particular area of the town. Apparently, the police ended up shooting an unarmed African-American man, an 18-year-old, multiple times after he had been involved in a scuffle with police. The community reacted during a candlelight vigil last night, which quickly led to difficulties, including protesters standing atop police cars. Officers stood by in full riot gear but did not intervene. Hurricane Bertha, which has been predicted to hit the UK now for a week, hit the UK yesterday with a vengeance. It's dropping 2 times the average August rainfall in 24 hours. Severe weather warnings have been issued for most of Britain. The Environment Agency has issued flood warnings and 47 flood alerts across England and Wales. Scotland has issued 12 separate flood alerts. Yesterday, homes and railway stations were flooded, supermarkets closed, and dozens of outdoor events canceled. Well, that's the news for today. It's a Monday. We'll see what happens this week. If we have anything breaking, we'll come back. There's no word yet on the possible coup in Baghdad. However, many forces, including the Sunnis in Iraq, have been interested in some change of government that would give some sort of accommodation to all of the parties rather than just a Shia-led government. Al-Maliki has been under pressure from the Americans. We'll see what happens today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.